Flame brush it. But if you hold the flame on it in one place too long, it will scorch, as I'll show you. Now you can see it's burned. But if you let it cool off and take some solvent, that will wipe away. And as I said before, if it's badly scorched, you can just abrade it with a very fine abrasive. But prior to putting on the last tube, we install the internal moisture seals. With this red sealant, put it on the cable semicon, and you put sufficient to bring the diameter of the sealant to the similar diameter of the red tube that's just been installed. The red inner layer is insulating, the outer layer, the black layer, is conductive. And it's the two layers are co-extruded, so there's no chance of any air, pockets of air between the two layers. If you have air between the two layers, you get ionization and discharge, and it's something you has to be avoided. So you put this over and you see it lands on the sealant because it's a couple of inches longer than the previous two tubes, and you shrink it down onto the underlying tubes and the sealant, and you get a perfect moisture seal at these ends. So should any damage occur to the cable jacket up the line somewhere and moisture comes down under the cable jacket, it would reach this sealant and would go no further. It wouldn't get inside the inner working part of the splice. This tube is a little thicker, so it takes a little longer to shrink.
Dennis, the outside of that's conductive?
Yes, it is.
So that's like the shielding of the cable?
Exactly.
So you've rebuilt the cable?
Exactly. We'll put copper mesh shielding overall, so that will connect the outer layer, this conductive outer layer, to the cable semicon. So and shielding.
You got a stress control inside.
Yeah.
First there was void fillers, then you put a stress control, and you put insulation and conductive.
Right.
I got it.
But all these components are factory engineered, so if you follow the steps that you'll see in this video that I'm doing, a quality installation will be assured. We'll do the flame brushing. Now we install the ground braid. You have to make sure that this braid makes contact with the copper tape. Some people, when they install this, they put the roll spring on first, like so, and then the ground braid, because it's easier to install if you do it that way. However, this roll spring is not a great electrical conductor, so not like the ground braid, which does definitely have to make electrical contact with that copper tape shield.
And that ground braid's copper?
Yeah.
Tin-coated copper?
Tin-coated copper wires, very fine wires. Just give it a little twist to tighten it up. Little bits of adhesive back copper tape, just to ensure that the roll spring stays in place. So, 2 layers of the roll spring over the braid, fold the braid back, and then the remainder of the roll spring overall.
And that just makes the shield continuous across the joint, Dennis?
Yep. Then we have the copper mesh. You can cut this excess braid off or just leave it in place and tie it down with the copper mesh. This copper mesh is for personnel safety. Should anybody unfortunately spike the splice, the voltage will go through this mesh to ground instead of through the spiker's arm to ground. That's the idea of it. And then tie it off with a half hitch. Then we have to get some abrasive strip, some solvent. What you do is solvent clean the cable jacket, make sure there's no grease there, and then take an abrasive strip and rough the jacket up to take the shine off it. This is a 120 grit, and just rough this jacket up, take the shine off it. That makes sure you get a good moisture seal.
And this is to replace the jacket, Dennis?
This is replacing the jacket.
Okay.
And to shrink it in the same manner that I shrank all the other tubes.
Now a lot of these tubes look the same. At least they look black, and
yeah,
they all look kind of black and similar, but they do have different functions. And this one is used primarily to replace the jacket and provide a little bit of mechanical protection for the joint. And you can tell this one shrinks a lot faster than that last one you installed because it's thinner, is that right?
Because it's thinner, right. And you'll notice here where it's shrunk down that the heat-activated sealant has oozed out of the end. That's a good sign that you've installed it correctly.
See, what you can't really see is that Dennis is heating this up all the way so he doesn't have any flat spots or ridges. And you can tell, you can see it with your eye and you can feel it with your hand. Though I recommend don't touch the splice right now.